Hello everyone, my name is Small Cats and I'm on a tree. Welcome back to Superflat. It's been a little bit. But yeah, we're back. I got an itch to play on the Superflat world again. So we're gonna hop immediately into a time lapse. I'm gonna work more on our terraforming. So the way we're doing the back of this terraforming is basically, instead of kind of doing this much more detailed terraforming we've done in the front with the custom trees, blah blah blah, lots of work, lots of time, it's a lot to do. We are going to do the back with just cobblestone, just moss, and just stone. We're going to plant normal vanilla trees and bone meal them so that they grow. And we're basically going to kind of like forest the back a little bit so that it looks nice, but it's a lot less manual labor for me because who has time for that? It's not me, I don't. So we're going to get right into that and let's get started. This is now done. It turned out really cute. I'd like to add some birch trees in here, but for now I just did azalea because that's easy. I did end up incorporating a little bit of mossy cobblestone later in the build, just because I had it. But this brings us up here to this flat area that's sort of becoming like a farming section. You know, we have the horse farm, the wheat field. And now we have this little flat space up here on top of the cliff above the lake. And I kind of got to thinking of what could I put up on that spot, because it's like such a cool looking place, right? It's high up in the air. And you know, I was just thinking bees. What if we got some bees? And so you might be thinking, Small, how do you get bees in the Superflat world? They don't generate naturally, right? Well, maybe they do. So the fun thing about bees is that whenever a certain type of tree, like an oak tree or a birch tree, grow next to a flower within a 5x5 radius centered around the tree trunk, there's a very small chance that it'll spawn a bee nest that could have 1, 2, or 3 bees in it. So theoretically, we could fly around the world and hope to find a tree that spawned in a village with a bee nest, but that would be very low. The other option is that we get some birch saplings, which we have, and some flowers, which we have from the flower farm, and some bone meal, which we have, and we sit here and we grow birch trees with flowers around them in hopes of spawning a bee nest, or multiple bee nests. And then once we get bee nests, we can get honey and honeycomb blocks and honey blocks. So we can build flying contraptions, we can use them as building blocks, we can wax our copper from the copper farm. It basically, bees actually, even though they're a very small part of Minecraft, open up a lot of possibilities. And then we could build a little apiary on top of our hill. And I think it'll look really cute. So let's try to get some bees. I'm excited. It's going to be amazing. I didn't plan that pun. It just happened. I'm sorry. Also, I hope it stops raining. Alright, so we have part of what we need, which are birch saplings. We've got some bone meal. I'm gonna kind of sort my inventory up a little bit. It's kind of a mess. Okay, that's, you know. I don't really need any of these. Leave these here for more terraforming later. Let me grab some bones. Let's grab a stack of bones. Well, stack of bone blocks. And we can fly down here to our flower farm, and we're gonna have to sleep actually pretty soon. I also really need to light up that because there's getting a lot of bats. Okay, let's grab some flowers. It doesn't really matter what kind. You know, we'll get cornflowers. Those are totally fine. Alright, so the basic idea is this. You plant a sapling, and then you have basically a 5x5 point around the sapling where you can plant your flowers. Now, I don't recommend doing this. And I'm not sure if this is true, but I think if the tree is too short, there's a chance that bees would interfere with the spawning of the bee nest. So what I'm gonna do instead is, I don't know if it matters to have this many flowers around, but we're just gonna do that. We're gonna bone meal. And we didn't get any bees. That's okay. So that's not, you know, it's not the end of the world. We just basically are gonna keep doing this until we get a bee nest. All right, so after about, I want to say 10 minutes, there they are! There's two! Oh, this is perfect. Okay, here, come here. We're gonna breed you, and we're gonna have 3 bees. Oh, they're so cute. All right, so this is my fortune axe. So what we're gonna do is wait for nighttime for the bees to go back into their little beehive. And then once they do that, we are going to... I'm actually stunned right now. I don't know how many bees are in this bee nest. Oh, actually, all of you, if you go back into the bee nest, I would be so happy. Total bee location! Oh, we got the achievement. Okay, we have 2 beehives. Guys, that literally wasn't... I can't believe that just did that right on camera in my face. That was actually fantastic. Let's go. So we have bees. So now we're able to build little bitty bee farms. And bee farms are pretty easy. What we're gonna basically have to do is create kind of like a automatic sheep shearing station, but a little bit different. That's gonna detect when the beehive can be sheared so that we can get honeycomb. And we need honeycomb because we want to get more bees, is sort of the end goal, right? So the idea is that whenever you shear a bee nest that's full, you get honeycomb. And you use that with wooden planks to create more bee houses. Bee hives, I want to say that they're called. I forget the actual term because I always mix up the beehive and the bee nest. I doubt that it's going to let me if I search bee. Yeah, because I haven't gotten honeycomb, it won't let me show you. But they're a little bit different than the naturally generating nests. They're player crafted. But if we get more honeycomb and then build some of those and breed the bees will naturally take over those player crafted bee houses. I'm gonna call them bee houses, you know, little bee condos. And we will get more bees. And it's just a wonderful cycle of getting more and more bees. Truly. I was just hoping that I'd get lucky and another bee nest would spawn. That would have been super cool, but can't be that lucky all the time. But hey, we did it. We got bees in Superflat. So making a bee farm is actually pretty easy, and it's not really a bee farm so much as a honeycomb farm. Uh, it's super simple. So what we're gonna do is create a little collection chest. Now we only have the 2 bee nests right now, so it doesn't need to be very big. So we've created this like little collection chest, and we have some mud here. Now the nice thing about mud is that it's actually really hard to see. We're going to use our F3 screen to show. So right now I'm standing on -59 in the y-axis. Now if I go stand on the mud, I'm on -59.1. So I've actually gone down on 0.125. I've gone down just a smidge, literally like a pixel that I've gone down in the world. So what's interesting about this property of mud is that if I can throw this correctly, if I can throw correctly, there you go. You saw it kind of disappear. Here, we'll do it from here. Is because it's that tiny pixel shorter, items actually go into the hoppers underneath of this. So if we do this, what will happen is the bee nests are all gonna kind of, if we pretend this chest is a bee nest, they're all gonna basically sit here. And the bees are gonna pop out, blah, 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 do their bee stuff. And then they're gonna get sheared by shears and kind of a little redstone setup. And then the bees basically, when the items drop, they're gonna get picked up by these hoppers. And the bees are just gonna keep doing bee things, basically. You know, standard behavior. Oh, I gotta stop. I'm sorry, I really can't help it. The bee puns are way too easy. Okay, so our farm is done. I didn't record building it because I wanted to kind of talk about the mechanics of it afterwards. So shout out to Mortings. I will link his video in the description. This is his farm, or at least this is the video I followed off of the internet. So basically, as I explained before, the mud blocks, which are just a tiny bit shorter than a normal block, are going to be our collection system, and we have our flowers here. Back here in this gap behind the glass is where our bee nests are going to go in a little bit. And then we have a comparator here. So this comparator is going to be reading the signal that's coming out of the bee nests. So the way this works is there are multiple different levels of full from a beehive or a bee nest. As bees work, they slowly build up the levels of honey. And you can only shear or use a bottle on the bee nest whenever it's full, level 5. So this contraption here is basically going to create a redstone signal once the comparator reads 5. It's long enough, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the repeaters extend the signal out in order to do that. And then there's a dispenser in each of these places, basically, that is going to dispense shears. Now we could actually, because this is a cool farm, one of these could be shears and one of these could be glass bottles, and that would mean that then we're able to get both honey and honeycomb. But what we're going to do really quick is we're going to boop the bees in there, and hopefully the bees are going to pop out at some point. We picked them up when they were working, so they might just be chilling. Basically, whenever bees bring pollen from flowers back into the hive, they have a working period, and then they come back out. Oops, see, there they go. And because there's flowers, they're gonna do their little bee thing. Now, is this reading a signal yet? No, so these are at 0. So it's probably gonna take a little while for them to build up anything. And another note is if you do use glass bottles in this farm, you have to make sure that all of the slots are full. So like this would need to be full of stacks of glass bottles. Because if you don't do that, then basically when the dispenser fires, it won't, if there's an empty slot, it won't accidentally like get honey out of the hive, if that makes sense. Oh look, okay, so we've gone up in honey level. So you can see the redstone has gone all the way up. Or at least not all the way. It's gone this here, and it's going up this block. This hive, okay, I'm gonna stop hopping. This hive is at a higher level than this hive. So, and once it gets far enough up, it'll trigger. So we're gonna leave this farm running. It's almost nighttime, so the bees are probably gonna stop working. Yep, there they go back into their hives. But yeah, so that is our little honeycomb farm. We'll check back in on this whenever we have some honeycombs. Alright, it fired, and of course I was not recording, but here it is, 3 honeycombs. Oh, look at that. Wonderful. So we can now craft ourselves a bee hive. So this is the player-made version of the bee nest. Now I can pick this up with a normal fortune or whatever because there's no bees in it. But yeah, so we can now expand our farm. So this farm is really fun. It's tileable basically. We can just keep adding to it and breeding the bees as we go. But I think that's where we're going to call it for now after so much fun with bees. But thank you so much for watching. Getting bees in Superflat was super fun. I'm excited we were able to do it. Yeah, next episode, hopefully a little bit of building, a little bit of something else. Who knows? I got the itch to play on the Superflat world again. It got me. I thought I was taking a break, but I'm back. But thank you all so much for watching. If you would like, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps my channel. I've been Small Cats. Have a great night.